First contact fiasco. The gleaming silver spacecraft hovered silently above the New Mexico desert, its smooth surface reflecting the scorching sunlight. Inside, Zara, a young xenobiologist from the planet Zircon, peered anxiously at the readouts on her console. Her antennae twitched with excitement and nervousness as she prepared for humanity's first contact with an alien species. Zara, status report. Commander Vex's gravelly voice crackled through the ship's intercom. Zara straightened her posture, her iridescent scales shimmering under the soft blue light of the ship's interior. All systems nominal, Commander. Earth's atmospheric composition matches our projections. No signs of hostile activity detected. Commander Vex grunted in approval. Excellent. Prepare for descent. Remember, we're here to establish peaceful contact. The Council is counting on us to represent the Galactic Federation appropriately. As the ship began its descent, Zara couldn't help but feel a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Humans were an enigma in the galactic community, a species that had achieved spaceflight but hadn't yet made official contact with alien life. The mission to Earth was as much about satisfying scientific curiosity as it was about diplomacy. Meanwhile, on the ground, Dr. Emily Chen paced nervously in the makeshift command center. As the lead xenobiologist for the United Earth government, she had been preparing for this moment her entire career. Surrounding her were military personnel, politicians, and fellow scientists, all watching the monitors with bated breath. Dr. Chen, the alien craft is beginning its descent, reported Lieutenant Jake Martinez, his eyes fixed on the radar screen. ETA 5 minutes to touchdown. Emily nodded, her heart racing. Thank you, Lieutenant. Let's hope all our preparations pay off. As the Zircon ship touched down in a cloud of dust, a tense silence fell over the human delegation. The ship's main hatch opened with a soft hiss, revealing a ramp that extended to the ground. Commander Vex emerged first, his imposing 7-foot frame casting a long shadow in the desert sun. Behind him, Zara followed, her 3 eyes wide with wonder as she took in her first view of Earth. Emily stepped forward, her hands raised in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "I'm Dr. Emily Chen, representing the United Earth government." Commander Vex inclined his head in a respectful nod. "Greetings, Dr. Chen. I am Commander Vex of the Galactic Federation. We come in peace and friendship." As the two groups began to mingle, Zara found herself drawn to the human's physiology. Her scientific curiosity overwhelmed her sense of decorum, and she began to scan the humans with her handheld device. As she approached Lieutenant Martinez, her device emitted a series of excited beats. "Fascinating," Zara exclaimed, her antennae quivering. "Your species possesses a third limb that none of our preliminary data suggested." Jake blinked in confusion. "I'm sorry, what?" Zara pointed excitedly at Jake's lower body. "There, between your bipedal locomotion appendages, the third leg. How extraordinary." Emily, overhearing the conversation, rushed over, her face flushing with embarrassment. "Ah, Zara, I believe there's been a misunderstanding." But it was too late. Zara had already transmitted her findings to the Zircon ship, and within moments, the news spread throughout the alien delegation. Whispers and excited chittering filled the air as the Zircons marveled at the supposed unique anatomy of human males. Commander Vex approached Emily, his expression a mixture of awe and confusion. "Dr. Chen, why was this remarkable feature of human anatomy not included in the data package we received?" Emily struggled to find the right words. How could she explain this misunderstanding without causing a diplomatic incident? "Commander Vex, I assure you, there's a perfectly logical explanation." As Emily attempted to clear up the confusion, Jake stood awkwardly, acutely aware of the alien eyes now fixed on his lower body. He leaned over to whisper to a fellow soldier, "Well, this is one hell of a first impression." The soldier suppressed a snicker. "Yeah, talk about putting your best foot forward. All 3 of them." As the day progressed, the misunderstanding about human male anatomy continued to grow. Despite Emily's best efforts to explain, the language barrier and the Zircon's excitement about their discovery made it difficult to clarify the situation. The alien delegation insisted on conducting further research into this unique human feature, much to the discomfort of the male members of the human delegation. By nightfall, as both groups retired to their respective quarters, Emily sat in her office, head in her hands. What should have been a momentous day of peaceful first contact had devolved into a comedy of errors centered around human male anatomy. She knew she had to find a way to clear up this misunderstanding before it spiraled further out of control. Little did Emily know, this anatomical confusion was about to become the least of her worries. As she pondered her next move, a technician burst into her office, his face pale with shock. "Dr. Chen, we've detected multiple objects entering the solar system at high speed. They're not responding to our hails, and they're heading straight for Earth." Emily's blood ran cold. First contact had just become a lot more complicated. The Great Leg Debate. The following morning, the human and Zircon delegations gathered in the conference room of the makeshift diplomatic center. The atmosphere was tense, with the humans nervously eyeing the aliens and the Zircons, still fascinated by their misconception about human anatomy. Dr. Emily Chen stood at the front of the room, preparing to address both groups and hopefully clear up the misunderstanding once and for all. "Good morning, everyone," Emily began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Before we continue with our diplomatic discussions, I believe it's important that we address the anatomical confusion that arose yesterday." Commander Vex leaned forward, his three eyes blinking in rapid succession. "Yes, Dr. Chen. We are most intrigued by the unique physiology of human males. Such an adaptation must surely give your species a significant advantage." Emily took a deep breath. "Commander, I'm afraid there's been a misunderstanding. Humans, both male and female, have only 2 legs." A murmur of confusion rippled through the Zircon delegation. Zara, the young xenobiologist, stood up, her antennae twitching in agitation. "But Dr. Chen, our scans clearly showed a 3rd appendage on the human males. How do you explain this?" Emily felt her face grow hot. She had hoped to avoid going into explicit detail, but it seemed there was no way around it. "The appendage you detected is not a 3rd leg. It's a reproductive organ." The conference room erupted into chaos. The Zircons chittered excitedly among themselves, while the human delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Lieutenant Jake Martinez, who had been at the center of yesterday's misunderstanding, sank lower in his chair, wishing he could disappear. Commander Vex raised his hands, calling for silence. "Dr. Chen, are you suggesting that human males carry their reproductive organs externally? How terribly inefficient and vulnerable." Before Emily could respond, Zara chimed in. "But Commander, think of the evolutionary advantages such an arrangement could allow for. 4. Increased reproductive success." As the debate about human anatomy raged on, Emily felt a headache coming on. This was not how she had envisioned first contact going. She was about to call for a recess when Lieutenant Martinez's communicator beeped loudly. Jake answered the call, his face growing serious as he listened. He quickly made his way to Emily, whispering urgently in her ear. "Dr. Chen, we've got a situation. Those objects we detected last night, they've entered Earth's orbit. Our defense systems are on high alert." Emily's eyes widened. She turned to address the room, raising her voice to be heard over the ongoing anatomical debate. "Everyone, please, we have a more pressing matter to discuss. Unknown objects have entered Earth's orbit, and they're not responding to our attempts at communication." The room fell silent, the anatomical discussion forgotten in the face of this new threat. Commander Vex stood, his demeanor shifting from curious to serious in an instant. "Dr. Chen, could these be more of your Earth vessels?" Emily shook her head. "No, Commander. We're as in the dark about this as you are." Vex's expression hardened. "Then it seems we face a common threat. Perhaps it's time we set aside our anatomical discussions and focus on this new development. As if on cue, the lights in the conference room flickered, and a low rumble shook the building. Outside, the sky darkened as multiple objects, each the size of a small city, moved into position above the Earth's major population centers. Emily turned to Vex, her expression grim. "Commander, I think we're going to need your help." Vex nodded solemnly. "Indeed, Dr. Chen. It seems the universe has thrust us together in the face of a greater challenge. We will stand with Earth." As the human and Zircon delegations rushed to prepare for the impending threat, Jake couldn't help but marvel at how quickly their priorities had shifted. Just moments ago, they had been debating the merits of external reproductive organs, and now they were uniting against an unknown alien force. In the command center, Emily and Vex stood side by side, watching as the massive alien ships took up positions around the globe. The Earth's military forces were mobilizing, but against such advanced technology, their weapons seemed woefully inadequate. "Commander," Emily said, her voice low, "I know we've had our misunderstandings, but I'm grateful for your willingness to help us." Vex placed a reassuring hand on Emily's shoulder, his three eyes meeting her too. "Dr. Chen, despite our differences, we are both sentient beings faced with a common threat. The Galactic Federation does not abandon its friends, even those we've just met." As they watched the monitors, a chilling message began to broadcast across all frequencies. A harsh, guttural voice filled the air. "Humans of Earth, your planet has been chosen for harvest. Surrender now, and your suffering will be minimized. Resist, and you will be eradicated." The command center fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. Humanity's first contact with alien life had barely begun, and now they faced an existential threat from the stars. Emily squared her shoulders, a determined look in her eyes. "Well, Commander Vex, it looks like we're going to have to put our cultural exchange on hold. How do you feel about saving the world?" Vex's mouth curved into what Emily assumed was a smile. "Dr. Chen, I believe this is the beginning of a most interesting alliance. Now let us show these invaders the combined might of human ingenuity and Zircon technology." As the two leaders began to formulate a plan, Jake couldn't help but chuckle to himself. Who would have thought that a misunderstanding about human anatomy would lead to an interstellar alliance? Sometimes, he mused, it really did pay to put your best foot forward. All three of them. United we stand. As the alien threat loomed overhead, the once divided human and Zircon delegations found themselves working together with newfound urgency. The makeshift command center had become a hive of activity, with scientists, military personnel, and alien visitors hunched over consoles and engaged in rapid-fire discussions. Dr. Emily Chen and Commander Vex stood at the center of it all, coordinating their joint efforts. The anatomical misunderstanding that had dominated their early interactions now seemed trivial in the face of a common enemy. "Commander," Emily said, pointing to a holographic display of Earth's defensive capabilities, "our military forces are spread thin. We've never faced a threat of this magnitude before." Vex nodded, his antennae twitching thoughtfully. "Indeed, Dr. Chen. The invaders' technology appears to be even more advanced than our own. However, we Zircons have encountered similar aggressive species before. Perhaps a combination of your planet's unique resources and our advanced shielding technology could give us an advantage." As they discussed strategy, Zora approached with Lieutenant Jake Martinez in tow. The young xenobiologist's eyes were bright with excitement, despite the grave situation. "Dr. Chen, Commander Vex," Zora began, "I believe Lieutenant Martinez and I have stumbled upon a potential solution. It involves the very anatomical feature we were discussing earlier." Jake shifted uncomfortably but spoke up. "Ma'am, sir, it's unconventional, but we think we might be able to use the invaders' misconceptions about human anatomy to our advantage." Emily raised an eyebrow. "I'm listening." Over the next hour, Jake and Zara laid out their plan. It was audacious, borderline ridiculous, But in the face of annihilation, even the most outlandish ideas were worth considering. As they talked, Emily found herself marveling at how quickly humans and Zircons had adapted to working together. Cultural barriers that had seemed insurmountable just days ago were now being bridged through shared purpose and mutual respect. Meanwhile, in another part of the facility, human and Zircon engineers worked side by side, combining their technologies in ways neither species had imagined before. The Zircons' advanced energy manipulation techniques were being integrated with Earth's satellite networks, creating a global defense grid that might stand a chance against the invaders' weapons. As the day wore on, the invaders grew impatient. Their ships began to descend, casting ominous shadows over major cities worldwide. Panic spread among Earth's population, but in the command center, a spark of hope had ignited. Dr. Chen, a technician, called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the invaders. They're demanding to speak with Earth's leaders." Emily exchanged a glance with Vex. "This is it," she said. "Are we ready?" Vex placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "As ready as we'll ever be, Doctor. Let us hope that your lieutenant's unorthodox plan works." Emily took a deep breath and nodded to the technician. "Put them through." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a grotesque alien face. Its eyes were sunken into a gray, pustule-covered skull, and when it spoke, rows of needle-like teeth were visible. "Humans," the alien growled, "your time has come. Surrender now, or watch your cities burn." Emily stepped forward, her voice steady. "We will not surrender. Earth is under the protection of the Galactic Federation. Leave now, or face the consequences." The alien leader laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Protection. We detected only one small vessel in your orbit. Do not bluff, human. It will only make your defeat more painful." At that moment, Jake stepped into view of the camera. "You might want to reconsider," he said, a mischievous glint in his eye. "You see, there's something you should know about us humans, something that makes us uniquely qualified to defend ourselves." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Explain." Jake grinned. "Well, you see, we humans have a secret weapon. One that your scans might have detected, but that you clearly don't understand. We call it the third leg." Confusion rippled across the alien leader's face. Behind the camera, Emily and Vex exchanged nervous glances. This was confusion rippled across the alien leader's face. Behind the camera, Emily and Vex exchanged nervous glances. This was the moment of truth. Jake continued, his voice filled with mock confidence. "That's right. Every human male is equipped with a third leg. It's not just for show, either. It's a biological weapon of immense power." The alien leader's eyes narrowed. "You lie. Our scans detected no such weapon." "Of course not," Jake replied smoothly. "It's designed to be undetectable. But trust me, you don't want to see it in action. It's got a kick like you wouldn't believe." As Jake spoke, Zara and her team were working furiously behind the scenes. They had repurposed the Zircon's advanced holographic technology, combining it with Earth's satellite network. If their plan worked, they would project an image of enormous, three-legged humans all around the globe. The alien leader seemed to hesitate. "If what you say is true, why have you not used this weapon already?" Emily stepped forward. "Because we're giving you one last chance to leave peacefully. Activate this weapon, and the consequences will be severe." For a moment, silence reigned. Then, almost imperceptibly, the alien leader's posture changed. Was that fear in its eyes? We will need time to consider this new information," the alien growled. "You have one Earth rotation to provide proof of this weapon, or we will commence our attack." The transmission cut off abruptly. In the command center, a collective sigh of relief went up, followed by a burst of nervous laughter. "I can't believe that worked," Jake said, wiping sweat from his brow. Emily patted him on the back. "Don't celebrate yet. We've bought ourselves some time, but now we need to make good on that bluff." Commander Vex approached, his antennae twitching with what Emily had come to recognize as amusement. "I must admit, Dr. Chen, your species continues to surprise me, using a physiological misunderstanding as a strategic advantage. Most ingenious." Emily couldn't help but smile. "Well, Commander, sometimes our greatest strengths come from the most unexpected places." Over the next several hours, humans and Zircons worked tirelessly to prepare their ruse. Zara and her team fine-tuned the holographic projectors, while Earth's military coordinated a global display of force to coincide with the activation of their secret weapon. As the deadline approached, Emily found a quiet moment to speak with Commander Vex. "Commander," she began, "I want to thank you and your people for standing with us. Win or lose, you didn't have to take this risk." Vex's three eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Emily had learned indicated deep thought. "Dr. Chen, when we came to Earth, we sought to expand our understanding of the universe. In facing this threat together, I believe we have learned more about each other and ourselves than any peaceful exchange could have taught us." Emily nodded, feeling a lump form in her throat. "Let's hope we all live to build on that understanding." As the alien ships began to descend once more, Emily took her place at the command center. Jake stood beside her, ready to once again play his part in their elaborate bluff. "All teams, report in," Emily called out. One by one, confirmations came in from around the globe. Military forces were in position. The Zircon holographic network was online. It was time for humanity's greatest performance. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the alien leader's grotesque face once more. "Your time is up, humans. Where is this weapon you spoke of?" Jake stepped forward, his face a mask of determination. "You want to see our secret weapon? Well, get ready for a view you'll never forget." He pressed a button on the console, and all around the world, massive holographic images sprang to life. Colossal, three-legged humans appeared to rise from the ground, towering over cities and dwarfing the alien ships. The alien leader's eyes widened in shock. "Impossible. This is your last warning," Emily said, her voice stern. "Leave now or face the consequences of challenging Earth and the Galactic Federation." For a moment, the outcome hung in the balance. Then, to everyone's amazement and relief, the alien ships began to ascend. This is not over," the alien leader sputtered. "We will return when we have countermeasures for your biological abominations." As the invading fleet retreated from Earth's orbit, cheers erupted in the command center. Humans and Zircons embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of their shared victory. Emily turned to Jake, a wide grin on her face. "Lieutenant, I never thought I'd say this, but thank God for that third leg of yours." Jake laughed, the tension of the past few days finally breaking. "Just doing my part for interstellar relations, Mom." As the celebration continued around them, Emily and Commander Vex stood side by side, watching the retreating alien ships on the main screen. "Well, Commander," Emily said, "it looks like this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship." Vex's mouth curved into what Emily now recognized as a smile. "Indeed, Dr. Chen. Though perhaps we should work on clearing up any remaining anatomical misunderstandings before our next joint mission." Emily chuckled. "Agreed. But first, I think Earth owes the Galactic Federation a proper welcome party. After all, it's not every day you save the world with a holographic third leg." As night fell on a Earth forever changed by its brush with two alien species, one friend, one foe, humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but also dangers. Yet with their new allies by their side, they faced the future with hope, humor, and the unshakable belief that sometimes the most powerful weapon of all is a well-timed bluff. The true threat emerges. In the weeks following the thwarted invasion, Earth buzzed with a newfound energy. The presence of the Zircons had catalyzed technological advancements beyond humanity's wildest dreams. Cities gleamed with Zircon-inspired architecture, while hospitals boasted medical equipment that bordered on the miraculous. The Great Leg Debate, as it had come to be known, had become a source of global amusement, with memes and jokes about humanity's secret weapon flooding the internet. Dr. Emily Chen found herself at the center of it all, coordinating the integration of zircon technology and managing Earth's new role in the Galactic Federation. She stood in her office, gazing out at the New Mexico desert, marveling at how much had changed in such a short time. A knock at the door interrupted her reverie. "Come in," she called. Lieutenant Jake Martinez entered, a tablet in hand and a serious expression on his face. "Dr. Chen, we've got a situation." Emily sighed. Those words never heralded good news. "What is it, Jake?" "Our deep space monitoring stations have picked up something unusual," Jake said, handing her the tablet. "It's big, it's fast, and it's headed straight for us." Emily's eyes widened as she scanned the data. "Have you informed Commander Vex?" Jake nodded. "He's on his way. But Dr. Chen, this isn't like the last invasion force. Whatever's coming, it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Before Emily could respond, Commander Vex burst into the office, his usually calm demeanor shattered. "Dr. Chen, Lieutenant, we have grave news. The entity approaching Earth. We've seen it before." Emily and Jake exchanged worried glances. "What do you mean, Commander?" Emily asked. Vex's three eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. "It is known as the Devourer, a cosmic entity that consumes entire planets. It has destroyed countless civilizations across the galaxy. We thought it was merely a legend, but—" He gestured to the data on Emily's tablet. "The evidence is undeniable." The gravity of the situation sank in. Their previous victory, which had seemed so monumental, now felt like a child's game in comparison. "How long do we have?" Jake asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "At its current speed, less than 72 hours, Vex replied grimly. Emily took a deep breath, steeling herself. "All right. We beat the odds once before. We can do it again. Jake, I need you to coordinate with Earth's military forces. Commander Vex, please contact the Galactic Federation. We're going to need all the help we can get." As Jake and Vex hurried out to carry out their tasks, Emily turned back to the window. The peaceful desert landscape seemed to mock the looming threat. How could they possibly face an entity capable of devouring entire worlds? Over the next 48 hours, Earth became a hive of feverish activity. The planet's best scientists worked alongside Zircon experts, searching desperately for a way to repel the devourer. Military forces around the globe mobilized, though everyone knew conventional weapons would be useless against such a threat. In a secure underground facility, Emily stood before a gathered assembly of Earth's leaders and Galactic Federation representatives. The tension in the room was palpable. "Ladies, gentlemen, and honored allies," Emily began, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "We face a threat unlike any we've encountered before. The entity known as the Devourer has destroyed countless worlds across the galaxy. But today, it faces something it's never encountered before: a united Earth, standing alongside the Galactic Federation." She paused, looking around the room. "Our scientists have been working around the clock, and they've developed a theory. The Devourer is drawn to the energy signatures of inhabited worlds. If we can mask Earth's signature, we might be able to avoid detection." A murmur ran through the crowd. Commander Vex stepped forward. "Dr. Chen is correct. However, the energy required to mask an entire planet would be astronomical. That's where our secret weapon comes in," Jake chimed in, a glint in his eye. Emily shot him a warning look, but he continued undeterred. "No, not that secret weapon. I'm talking about the real secret weapon of humanity. Our ability to unite in the face of adversity." He turned to address the room. "We propose a global effort. Every power plant, every vehicle, every device capable of generating energy, all focused on creating a massive electromagnetic pulse. Combined with Zircon shielding technology, it might just be enough to make Earth invisible to the devourer. The room erupted into discussion. It was a desperate plan, with no guarantee of success. But as the hours ticked by, it became clear it was their only hope. As the deadline approached, Emily found herself once again in the command center, surrounded by a mix of human and Zircon faces. The main screen showed a live feed from a deep space probe, and what they saw chilled them to the bone. The devourer defied description. It was as if a piece of the night sky had come alive, a writhing mass of darkness that seemed to bend light around it. As they watched, it engulfed an entire asteroid field, leaving nothing but empty space in its wake. Energy mask status. Emily called out, forcing her voice to remain calm. 97% and rising, came the response. Global power grid is at maximum capacity. Zircon shields are holding steady. Commander Vex stood beside Emily, his usually stoic face etched with worry. Dr. Chen, if this doesn't work. Emily nodded grimly. I know, Commander, but it has to work. We've come too far to fail now. As the devourer entered the solar system, an eerie calm fell over the command center. On screens around the world, people watched with bated breath as the cosmic horror approached their home. Energy mask at full power, someone shouted. Emily gripped the edge of her console, her knuckles white. Now we wait, she whispered. The devourer drew closer, its formless mass seeming to search for its prey. For a heart-stopping moment, it paused near Earth's orbit. Then, to everyone's amazement and relief, it continued on, passing by the planet as if it wasn't there. A cheer went up in the command center, quickly echoed around the globe. They had done it. Earth had survived. As the celebration erupted around her, Emily felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Jake, a wide grin on his face. You know, Dr. Chen, he said, his eyes twinkling with mischief, I think we just proved that humanity's real third leg is our brain. Emily couldn't help but laugh, the tension of the past few days finally breaking. Lieutenant, I think you might be right. Though let's keep that particular analogy between us, shall we? I think we've had enough anatomical misunderstandings to last a lifetime. As Earth celebrated its narrow escape, Emily gazed out at the star-filled sky. The universe was vaster and more dangerous than they had ever imagined. But it was also filled with wonders and allies they were only beginning to discover. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that humanity, standing united with their new friends, was ready to face them. The devourer had come seeking a planet to consume. Instead, it had inadvertently given birth to something far greater, a humanity ready to take its place among the stars. Triumph of understanding. The months following Earth's brush with the devourer saw unprecedented changes sweep across the planet. The global cooperation that had saved humanity from cosmic annihilation had sparked a new era of international collaboration. Borders that had once seemed insurmountable were now crossed with ease as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. At the heart of this transformation was the Terran-Zircon alliance, a symbol of interstellar friendship that had grown from a comical misunderstanding about human anatomy. Dr. Emily Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Federation, found herself at the center of this new world order. On a crisp autumn morning, Emily stood on the observation deck of Harmony Station, a joint human-Zircon space station orbiting Earth. Beside her, Commander Vex gazed down at the blue-green planet below, his three eyes blinking in sequence, a gesture Emily had come to recognize as one of contentment. It is remarkable, Dr. Chen, Vex said, his voice filled with wonder. In the span of a few Earth rotations, your species has advanced centuries beyond where we first found you. Emily smiled, feeling the surge of pride. We had good teachers, Commander, and a hell of a motivation. Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Lieutenant Jake Martinez, now Colonel Martinez, Earth's military liaison to the Galactic Federation. Ambassador, Commander, Jake greeted them with a grin. I hope I'm not interrupting a moment of interstellar diplomacy. Emily chuckled. Not at all, Colonel. What brings you to Harmony Station? Jake's expression turned serious. We've received a transmission from the edge of the solar system. Well, you're going to want to see this for yourself. They hurried to the station's command center, a marvel of human ingenuity and Zircon technology. On the main screen, a familiar and unwelcome face appeared, the leader of the alien force that had first threatened Earth. Greetings, humans, and Zircons, the alien growled, its voice dripping with disdain. We have returned, as promised, with countermeasures for your biological abominations. Prepare for. The alien's threat was cut short as the screen split, revealing a second transmission. Emily's eyes widened in shock as she recognized the writhing darkness of the devourer. By the stars, Vex whispered, his antennae quivering in fear. They watched in horrified fascination as the devourer descended upon the alien fleet. Ships that had once threatened Earth were now helpless before the cosmic horror. Within moments, the entire fleet had vanished, consumed by the insatiable entity. As quickly as it had appeared, the devourer moved on, leaving nothing but empty space where the alien armada had been. The command center was silent for a long moment, the implications of what they had just witnessed sinking in. Well, Jake said finally, breaking the tension, I guess that's one way to deal with uninvited guests. Despite the gravity of the situation, Emily found herself laughing. It was either that or cry at the sheer absurdity of their circumstances. Colonel, she said, composing herself, I think it's time we show the galaxy what humanity and the Zircons can really do when we work together. Over the next few weeks, Emily and Vex spearheaded a bold initiative. Using the knowledge gained from their encounter with the devourer, they developed an early warning system for the entire Galactic Federation. Combined with the planetary cloaking over the next few weeks, Emily and Vex spearheaded a bold initiative. Using the knowledge gained from their encounter with the devourer, they developed an early warning system for the entire Galactic Federation. Combined with the planetary cloaking technology that had saved Earth, it offered hope to countless civilizations across the galaxy. As news of their innovation spread, Earth found itself at the center of galactic attention. Alien delegations from across the Federation arrived daily, eager to learn from the species that had outwitted both aggressive invaders and a cosmic horror. On a particularly busy day, Emily found herself in yet another diplomatic meeting, this time with a delegation from a distant aquatic world. As she explained Earth's journey from isolation to galactic prominence, she couldn't help but smile at the memory of how it all began. And so, you see, Emily concluded, what started as a simple misunderstanding about human anatomy led to an alliance that would change the course of galactic history. The lead delegate, a bioluminescent cephalopod-like being, pulsed with curiosity. Fascinating, Ambassador Chen. But I must ask, this third leg that caused such confusion, what is its true purpose? Emily felt a familiar warmth creep into her cheeks. Even after all this time, some topics remained awkward to discuss in interstellar company. Well, you see, she was saved from further explanation by the timely arrival of Jake. Pardon the interruption, Ambassador, he said, nodding respectfully to the alien delegates. We've just received word from the Federation Council. They're ready for us. Excusing herself from the meeting, Emily joined Jake and Vex as they made their way to the station's Grand Assembly Hall. Today was the day they had all been working towards, the official recognition of Earth as a full member of the Galactic Federation. As they entered the hall, Emily was struck by the diversity of life forms represented. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions filled the auditorium, a living testament to the vastness and variety of the universe. The Federation President, a towering crystalline entity, called the assembly to order. Honored representatives of the Galactic Federation, we are gathered here today to welcome a new member into our cosmic family. Earth, once an isolated world on the fringes of known space, has proven itself a valuable ally and a beacon of innovation. As the president spoke, Emily's mind wandered back to that fateful day when the Zircon ship first appeared in the skies above New Mexico. Who could have imagined that a simple anatomical misunderstanding would lead to all of this? And so, the president continued, "It is with great pleasure that I officially declare Earth a full member of the Galactic Federation. Ambassador Chen, would you like to say a few words?" Emily stepped up to the podium, looking out at the sea of alien faces, some familiar, many still strange, but all united in this moment of cosmic fellowship. "Thank you, Mr. President, honored delegates," Emily began. "Earth's journey to this moment has been one of surprises, challenges, and above all, growth. We came into contact with the wider galaxy thinking we were alone in the universe. We quickly learned not only that we weren't alone, but that we had so much to learn." She paused, smiling as she caught Vex's eye in the audience. "Our first lesson was in the dangers of assumption. A simple misunderstanding about human anatomy could have derailed our first contact. Instead, it became the foundation of a friendship that would save not just Earth, but potentially countless worlds across the galaxy. As we take our place among the stars, we bring with us the qualities that have defined humanity throughout our history: curiosity, resilience, and the ability to find humor even in the face of cosmic horrors. But we also bring a newfound appreciation for the diversity of life and thought that this grand universe holds." Emily's voice grew strong with conviction. "We stand here today not just as representatives of Earth, but as members of a greater galactic community. Together, we face challenges that no single species could hope to overcome alone. But united, there is no force in the universe, not invading armies, not planet-devouring monstrosities, not even simple misunderstandings, that we cannot face and overcome." As Emily concluded her speech, the assembly hall erupted in a cacophony of applause, chirps, whistles, and other alien sounds of approval. She felt a swell of pride, not just for Earth, but for the grand tapestry of galactic life they were now officially a part of. Later, as the formal ceremonies wound down, Emily found herself back on the observation deck, gazing out at the stars. Jake and Vex joined her, each holding a glass of champagne, a human custom the Zircons had taken to with surprising enthusiasm. "Well, Ambassador," Jake said, raising his glass in a toast, "here's to the most successful anatomical misunderstanding in history." Vex's antennae twitched in amusement. "Indeed, though I must admit, I'm still not entirely sure I understand the full functionality of this mysterious third leg." Emily nearly choked on her champagne, while Jake unsuccessfully tried to stifle a laugh. "Oh, Commander," Emily said, once she had recovered, "some mysteries of human anatomy are perhaps best left unexplored in the name of interstellar diplomacy." As they shared a laugh, Emily looked out at the vast expanse of space before them. The universe was infinite, full of wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But as long as they faced it together, humans, Zircons, and all the myriad species of the Galactic Federation, she knew they could handle whatever the cosmos threw their way. After all, if a misunderstanding about a third leg could lead to all this, who knew what other miraculous connections were waiting to be made among the stars? The end.